Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey, and I am sharing with you on a recorded video again. It's Wednesday, your time, and we're on a little vacation, so I recorded a couple things ahead of time so you would still get some stamping inspiration. So this is Monday. I shared this card with you, and I didn't show you how I made it. So today I'm going to show you how to make this card, but I'm using a different stamp set that's a little less detailed than this one. So you'll be able to see how to create this stand-up card. And so let's get started. Now, if you'll remember, I told you that you could die cut this paper with the, let's see, Good Fortune dies that go with the Crane of Fortune. So it die cuts that. It's chrysanthemum. I think you could even, die cut part of, that one, and then you'd have to fussy cut the rest. So I don't know. I think I'd just go ahead and die cut the whole thing. I'd fussy cut the whole thing. So I cut one out so that we could run it through the embossing machine, cut and emboss machine. And because you don't want to run the whole piece of paper through. So we're just going to die cut this mom. This is the back of the Crane of Fortune, Good Fortune paper. It's hard to not use that gold paper, but I really like these mums too, so it's all right. We can sacrifice our paper, can't we? So I'm going to run this through the cut and emboss machine. And this will be our focal point on this card. So what makes it a little easier is that we're using the DSP for our card. I want to make sure and get it as straight as possible so it looks nice when it's die cut. Now, isn't that pretty how it just cuts that right out? And you don't have to fool with it. Now, you could make this card as fancy as you want or as simple as you want by adding more design elements. Now, I pre-cut a stitched rectangle. We're going to cut a piece of Evening Evergreen with the scalloped contour dies. That'll be our frame. If you don't have stitched rectangles, you can just use your cutting trimmer to just cut a rectangle of the correct size. Just kind of depends on what dies you already own as to how you want to do this. But you'll see this is real versatile, this particular layout, or as they say, map. This map. I don't know why I call it a sketch, a design sketch, a layout, or I guess it can be called a map. Now, I don't want this solid white here. I wanted to have some shading. So I'm going to use Blushing Bride. You could use Calypso Coral, but I tried that and I thought it was a little too harsh. So we're just going to ink up with Blushing Bright and add some pink behind here. Kind of just a nice shade, a little bit of shading. There, that looks pretty good. So it's still a nice white. It's a crisp color, but it's got that little bit of shade behind it. We can just, that look pretty. So we'll go ahead and add that. I hope you are all having a lovely week. I'm sorry you didn't get much snow on Sunday, but maybe you'll get some by the end of the week. If you like snow. If you don't, then then I wish for you not to have snow. I love snow. So now we're going to put this on with dimensionals. And let's see, I've got Evening Evergreen ribbon. We're going to tie a bow around this before we put it on our card. That ought to be enough. If you have not done this, it's the best thing ever. It helps if you have one here and one here, so then when you depends on the length of your ribbon, you can catch it on there. It's like this. My ribbon was always coming unrolled in the drawer and tangled up, and now it's sort of organized. I'll bring that down a little bit more, and we'll one more bump. Those little bumps are catching this ribbon. There we go. Now, since this is going to be a replay, I hope you'll at least leave me a message and tell me that you watched. Ask me questions if you don't understand what we're doing. I'll try to answer. I don't usually make big bows, but this one needed a bow, so. All right. Trim that off. Now we'll put this to the side so we can make our card base. Now I just have 8.5 by 5.5 thick basic white, and we're going to do some scoring. Let's see if we can do that correctly. So we're going to score at, you know, I wrote this down. It doesn't sound right. Let me double check. Yep, it is. Just seems kind of goofy. We're going to score it 3. And 6. And it's easier for me to turn this around and score it 1 1/4. So you could get 1 1/4. I'll have to think about that. And then got your card base. Let's do this. We want nice creases. Now see, that will stand up for us. Now this is some more paper that's from that collection, the one that has the pom-poms. And we're going to adhere that to our card front. You could have used an in-color pattern if you wanted. I was thinking this would look real pretty with the hand-pinned flowers. Is that the name of the set? This same layout. And if you wanted to get fancy, you could do some frames. But otherwise, I'm just using the paper. This is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and this is 1 by 5 1/4. So that's our basic card base. Now I have a 3 by 9. Make sure that's 3. It's actually 3 1/4 by 9. And it's scored at 4 1/2. So that's going to be our little bridge. And you can put it over to the side if you want more space over here, or you can center it or turn it and put it this way. That's what's cool about this particular design, is you can decide where you want it to go. I think I'm probably here going to put it a little over to the side on this one. So the best way is to do this. You could use tear and tape. I'm using Tombow because I want it to be a little more forgiving while I get it lined up. There we go. Now we'll flip that over and do the same thing here. You know, it's just enough to hold it in place. And there's our card. Now this is Calypso Coral here because I thought it went well with our pretty flowers. And you don't see a whole lot of it, but you get enough for it to pop. Now we'll adhere this. You see, this is so much, it's pretty easy once you get everything figured out. And you know I love cards that stand up. I'm gonna put this ink pad on here, and we're gonna stamp a sentiment. I have just a scrap, and I pulled the sentiment from the lovely You set that says, "Let's cheer you up." I thought that'd be good for somebody that needed a little pick-me-up. and I'm using Evening Evergreen. It's always fun to get a little pick-me-up card. I think I'm wiggling there. That's better. And I'm just going to punch this with the oval, double oval punch. Can throw that away, and then I have a scrap of Calypso Coral, and we'll punch the scallop piece, and we'll layer. Let's clean this so I don't get ink all over everything. Layer these two things. All right, now we're going to put this right about here so it can hang off the edge. So we can put that on with dimensionals. How about this for a quick card? We did a good job, didn't we? Yeah, the holiday rhinestones have these green, not sure if they're Evening Evergreen or not, but they work fine for the green. They pick up the color. So these have been out of stock. I'm not sure if they're back in stock or not. But since they're in the annual catalog, they will come. Oh, I must not have gotten that rhinestone. They will come back in stock, so you don't need to worry about not getting them if you want them. I love them because they're every color. So many colors. You can use them for lots of things. Red, gold, green, mint macaron, and night of navy. So that's a good purchase there. Now I just cut a 3 1/4, no, a 3 by 4 1/4 to put on the back. And that's where you can write your sentiment. You could stamp a sentiment on there before you put it on here. Be kind of hard otherwise. Yeah, since this is 3 1/4, then the white paper is 3. Now, I think we can just fussy cut one of these pretty little moms to decorate the back. We're not going to let this paper go to waste. Use every little bit that we can. So while I'm cutting, let's chit chat. Don't forget it's celebration. So if you spend $50, you can get a free item from the celebration catalog. Or you can spend $100 and get 2 items. Or you can, there's a couple products that you can get with $100. So it just depends on the products that you like. I think that Friendly Hello is $100. And maybe the Special Moments sentiments are $100. So there's our card. Now this one really was a little easier than this one, because this one has all these little die cut things and a lot more going on, but it's the same cut and layout. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back next Monday with another card for you. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.